You guys have been asking for it, and here it is, the Soundcore Motion Boom Plus. A popular request, but with a more affordable price tag, can it compete in a very crowded market? Shout out to Soundcore for sending us these speakers, but as always guys, the thoughts we share in this video are 100% ours and what we found from testing this speaker to help you decide if it's right for you. Now chances are, if you're considering the Soundcore Motion Boom Plus, then you've already looked at the JBL Xtreme 3, one of the front runners in the heavy duty portable speaker market. And actually it was our JBL portable speaker buying guide video where you guys said that we need to take a look at the Soundcore range. So we'll be putting these two head to head to see if throwing money at something really does pay off, or if you can save yourself a little bit of cash and still get impressive performance. Now make sure you guys also stay tuned right to the very end of this video, as we've got a little bit of a curveball that might tempt those of you with a slightly tighter budget. So the Motion Boom Plus comes in with a price tag of $189.99, £100 cheaper than the Xtreme 3 at $299.99. So there's a very big difference in budget there. At first glance, however, they offer pretty similar form factors, and it's clear that this Motion Boom Plus has been positioned pretty much head to head with this Xtreme 3. Now spec isn't everything, but let's cover the basics and our results from testing. So we've got 20 hours of battery on the Motion Boom Plus, which is pretty decent, and it outperforms the Xtreme 3 at 14 hours of playback. In our testing, both of these have performed around about there, depending on playback volumes and those kind of things. Now they also both charge via USB-C, and actually both can be used to charge your device like a power bank, which is a nice little feature that I personally would use to make sure that my phone doesn't die while I'm DJing at a party. There is no chance I'm letting someone else take over the playlist. Now in terms of setup and control, it's a simple Bluetooth connection, and the Motion Boom Plus offers Bluetooth 5.3, which is a reliable connection, and it was really quick to get playing pretty much straight out of the box. Now for reference, the Xtreme 3 offers Bluetooth 5.1, so a few iterations before. In our testing, I've not had any issues with dropouts or lag from either, and both should offer up to 10 meters of range, but of course, we've tested this out and here's how they got on. As you can see from our testing, the Motion Boom Plus started to drop out around the 80 meter mark, whereas the Xtreme 3 started to cut out around the 60 meter mark, far exceeding the previously mentioned 10 meters. Looking at other ways of connecting, they both have an aux 3.5mm input, which you could use for connecting up a phone, a CD player, or anything else that you'd like to connect up. Now the good news is both speakers let you customize their audio profiles via handy apps. So the Motion Boom Plus definitely offers more customization. Now you get 4 custom sound signatures in the app to choose from, or you can delve in deeper with a 9-slider EQ adjustment to create a custom EQ, which you can save in case you fancy playing around with a few different custom presets. Now in the app, you can also adjust the volume, you can turn the power off, change the auto power off time, and turn on the bass boost feature. While JBL also have an app, the adjustments come in the form of a simple 3-slider EQ, so there's much more to play around with in the Soundcore app if that's something of interest. Both Soundcore and JBL offer their own versions of connecting multiple speakers, so it's PartyCast 2.0 on the Motion Boom Plus, where you can connect an unlimited number of compatible Soundcore speakers for either synchronized playback or stereo sound. Now JBL call it Party Boost, where you can pair 2 JBL compatible speakers for stereo sound, or pair up to 100 for boosted performance, but realistically that might be 2 or 3 at a party. Design-wise, there are a few things to highlight. First things first, this Soundcore doesn't look like the most premium speaker, and it does utilize a lot of plastic, so doesn't feel the most premium either. The JBL, on the other hand, offers a much more premium finish, and for me, feels a little bit more sturdy and durable. In terms of dimensions, the Motion Boom Plus is quite a bit wider than the Xtreme 3, which is a little bit more chunky. Now weight-wise, this one is just under half a kilo heavier than the Xtreme 3, but in our very scientific testing, we can't really tell much of a difference at all. It's possible that the wider design of the Motion Boom Plus distributes the weight better, but neither feel particularly heavy, to be honest. Now we've also got a very handy carry strap for both, which I will say isn't a design choice that everyone is going to love, but as they are heavy duty portable speakers, it's handy for carrying them around. Now the Motion Boom Plus also adds an extra handle on the top, which I've lent towards using a lot more whilst moving it around. On the whole, the materials used and the overall design of the JBL does feel more expensive, which I guess it is, but side by side, the Soundcore definitely is playing catch up to the JBL in overall build quality. Now, which style you prefer, of course, will be totally personal preference. Oh, and they do have an IP67 rating, so you'd be fine getting both of them wet, but the JBL would sink if it was dropped in a pool, while the Motion Boom Plus claims that it would float. So let's have a look. In terms of durability, I don't think you'd be chucking these around the same way that you might with something like a JBL Flip 6 or another smaller portable speaker. However, my money would be on the JBL to withstand drops and falls better. Now, this grille on the front of the Motion Boom Plus does feel like it would dent or scratch a lot more easily. And in the few more realistic drop tests that we've tried, where there hasn't been any damage done, it's definitely sounded like it's taken the hit harder. So overall, in terms of design and features, both these speakers are pretty similar, with the Soundcore taking the edge in terms of features and the JBL ahead on build quality. So, how do they sound? Spec-wise, the Motion Boom Plus offers 80 watts of power with two 30-watt woofers and two 10-watt tweeters, and those are dual titanium silk dome drivers. The Xtreme 3 offers two 25-watt RMS woofers and two RMS tweeters. Looking at the frequency response, Soundcore don't state the full range, but say that this speaker offers up to 40 kHz, while JBL state a range of 53.5 Hz to 20 kHz. Now, going off all that spec alone, and before going into testing, I would be expecting more power in the mids and low end from the Motion Boom Plus, and more clarity in the higher frequencies in the Xtreme 3. But specs can't tell us everything, so let's test them out. Unusual disclaimer, guys, that what you hear over YouTube isn't going to be 100% accurate to what we're hearing in our studio, but it should give you a bit of an indicator of the sound profiles.
Wake up early in the morning, and when I come home at night, everything is covered in darkness, and the sun is out of sight. I guess I'm living in the dark, because I sure can't see no light.
So from our testing, I think overall there's a clear difference in performance here. On one hand, we've got the Motion Boom Plus, which really delivered, particularly in terms of overall volume. It offers a much bigger sound and fills a big space really well, and the bass performance was also pretty impressive. The JBL, on the other hand, felt more detailed, and I found that it offers a better mid-range and vocals across a variety of genres. To clarify, we've had them both at the same volume of 60% and at their factory settings straight out of the box. Now, we've since played around with the EQ settings of both speakers to fine-tune them to our personal preferences, so I definitely recommend getting in there and making a few tweaks. For example, I managed to get the treble sounding a little bit better on the Motion Boom Plus with some minor adjustments. But considering there's a £100 price difference here, I'd say the Motion Boom Plus performed surprisingly well, and when we've taken them both outside, the loudness really shone through there. It's clear now, after looking at the design and then the sound performance, where Soundcore have focused the budget on this speaker. We do miss some of the details in tracks, but I don't see many people buying a heavy-duty portable speaker to listen to the nuances of their favourite music. This is a speaker to take to parties, listen outdoors, and listen loud to. Now, normally I'd be one highlighting that volume isn't the same as sound quality, but when you put these into the context of what they are, then different things become a priority. For me, that's what it comes down to. If you're looking for great volume, impressive bass, and a loudspeaker for outdoors and filling those larger spaces, then the Motion Boom Plus is great value for money. Plus, it has some really good features to sweeten the deal. If you're looking for a bit more, maybe a more premium and sturdier design, you're in the JBL ecosystem already, or you'd like a speaker with more clarity and detail, then it's probably going to be the Xtreme 3. But hang on, back to that curveball I mentioned at the start of the video. The Soundcore Motion Boom. I know a lot of you guys are massive fans of this speaker, so we also got this one to see what the hype was about, and I can see why it's been popping up in our comments so much. At $94.99, this speaker is awesome. It's a smaller version of the Motion Boom Plus, released before this one actually in 2021. Now there are a few steps down in terms of features, so it's now IPX7, not IP67. It's got Bluetooth 5.0, not 5.3. There's no aux in and there's no partycast feature, but there is TWS, so you can pair two Motion Boom speakers for stereo sound. Now it can still be used as a power bank and it offers 24 hours of battery life, so actually a step up of 4 hours over the Motion Boom Plus. In terms of sound performance, we've stepped down to two 15-watt full-range drivers, and on the whole, again, this one stands out for value for money. I'll give you guys a quick listen now so you can check out what it sounds like. So hopefully, as you can tell, while it's clearly not really a comparison to the Motion Boom Plus or the JBL Xtreme 3, for half the price or more, it still offers a really decent performance. Most notably for me, at lower volume levels, the bass is actually pretty good. So for those of you who like the package of the Motion Boom Plus, but would prefer to spend a little bit less, then this might be your choice. The ultimate decision of which speaker is right for you is going to come down to what you want from a speaker, but I do love to see companies looking to provide more bang for your buck and options at more affordable price points. Now obviously you've still got the option of spending more and getting an extra step up in terms of flair and build quality, but for those looking to maximise their budget for sound performance alone, these have really surprised us.